Well, let me do it again.
Take two.
So, Bridget and I just got back from seeing Oz, the Great and Powerful, a movie which we have discussed ad nauseum on this little review show, mostly regarding the trailer and how badly it sucks and how terrible the film was going to be.
Yes.
So we went to see it because we figured
Naturally.
you can't judge a book by its trailer. And what did you think?
I'm very conflicted about it because there was a lot of things I liked. A lot of things were funny.
It was much funnier than I expected.
It was really entertaining.
Many times unintentionally so.
But I was so angry and confused. Angry and confused, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your overall thought on the movie, angry and confused?
And entertained.
Yeah.
It wasn't boring.
It wasn't boring. It was sometimes a little boring.
It wasn't too boring.
I was not a fan. It was funny, but I found the parts that I was laughing at the most weren't supposed to be funny. I was laughing at performances or weird dialogue. But it very much is a Sam Raimi movie. Like, this movie reminded me a lot of Evil Dead.
Good?
Yeah, in so many ways. In the ways they do a lot of the shots and, like, the quick zoom-ins and, like, the loud noises. In some of the makeup effects as well. It had Bruce Campbell.
It did.
Who was
That
not
made me happy.
he was not in the movie enough.
He didn't get nearly enough screen time.
We need more Bruce Campbell.
Always.
And
In
everything. I liked, one thing I really, really, really liked about it was that it was generally frightening at times to children.
Yeah.
Like, there was pop-up scares in a children's movie.
Yeah.
And I hate pop-up scares, but I'm all for scaring children. And I feel that children's movies, especially lately, have sort of lost their balls when it comes to scaring children. Like, there's not...
I saw scary movies when I was a kid.
Yeah, you were terrified of certain characters. There was, and I think that's important.
Yes.
No Heart?
No Heart?
Yeah. Care Bears? No Heart?
Oh, yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah. Big eyebrows, clearly evil. But yeah, so I appreciate that it was scary. Now, having said that, I am not the best person to judge this film. For the reason that I hate CGI. And this movie is... Oz Goes to Wonderland. It is so much CGI and so many scenes of, look how pretty the crystal flowers are that aren't there, and look how pretty the real flowers are that aren't there, and look how great this video game cutscene is.
Yep.
And look how great these actors are standing in front of a green screen with nothing interacting with them.
I could just imagine them the entire time.
Look how great things move without having any realistic weight to them. And except for the China doll, I thought the CGI on her was really good. That was
At times, I didn't think it was very good.
No? I thought it
Mostly
was
when it
good.
was compared to a person. Like, if somebody was holding her, it was like, oh, you're not holding her.
No, and the way they picked her up without any weight going into their hand, just like...
Yeah, like,
But
I think she's light, but still...
Yeah. So,
I
like I said, I'm not a fair person to judge, because just how much I hate CGI. But even beyond that...
Well, the difference, too, though, is that in Wizard of Oz, they did everything without CGI. So it's kind of like, was it necessary?
I think if, honestly, what would have been a great idea, and maybe it wouldn't have been, because it probably wouldn't have been as commercially successful, but if they set out to make the movie using the same techniques, and only the same techniques that they had with the original,
that's what I thought.
I think that'd be very interesting. As opposed to
great.
this, what is ultimately, and I know it takes a tremendous amount of effort, and the great artists, the people who do CGI work, but it is lazy from a directing and storytelling standpoint. It is. It's incredibly lazy. And even beyond that, here's the big problem with this movie, and we'll get into spoilers in the second part, and we'll do Babe Rundown. But the biggest issue is, if you saw this film and the original Wizard of Oz had never existed, if you had never seen it, know nothing about it, then this would just be an okay film with a really lame, unmemorable villain who has no charisma whatsoever. Which happens a lot in children's films, but that's not the case. We're comparing it to one of the greatest villain performances of all time. We're comparing it to a film that is very well crafted and extremely memorable, and putting out something that is absolutely unforgettable and often comical at times. And the performances were not good. Most of them. I mean, obviously, there's levels to that.
Yeah.
I like watching James Franco high in Oz.
I love James Franco.
He's so great.
I was very happy with him because I just really like him. But generally,
Anyway, we'll get into that more in the spoiler section. Babe Rundown.
Oh, James Franco.
Right? It wasn't Bruce Campbell?
Yes.
As the Winky Soldier, or whatever the fuck they're called? Okay. James Franco's a good choice.
There wasn't really any other male characters besides, like,
there was
the
the dwarf, and the old man, and the strong man, and Zach Braff. James Franco? Yeah, okay.
You do no wrong for me. That's not true.
Babeliest babe for me would, I guess, probably be Rachel Weisz.
Really?
Whatever. She's kind of got, like, gap teeth. I dig that. I like the gap teeth. And she's pretty pale. And she's got dark hair. I thought she was pretty babely.
That's fair.
Her character was lame.
Yes. Oh.
No ruby shoes!
Don't even get me started on that. We're going to talk about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that in the spoiler section. But I was like...
No.
That was the other thing I really liked about the movie, just before we get into final verdict, is I really liked the way that things from the earlier in the movie tied into later in the movie. And everything was kind of like connected in that way. Like, you just see little things of him, like, putting glue on stuff. And, and that comes into play later. You see conversations that come into play later. And it's kind of like the original Wizard of Oz, where you had that. But I feel it's even more intricate in this one with little bits and pieces, and I thought that was really, really interesting. It's too bad the rest of the movie sucked.
It had promise.
Final verdict.
I want to give it a 2. Just 2. 2. Because I was entertained, I didn't hate it. Maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
Not a 3. I can't think of any other movies that I've seen Bruce Willis in that I can compare it to.
What's a 2 out of 5 Bruce Willis? North?
I haven't seen North.
Well, North is terrible.
The one that I remember comparing Les Mis to Planet Terror. But
there you go.
Don't know if... Yeah, sure, why not? I guess it's close.
I don't think Planet Terror is a 2 out of 5 at all, but it's your choice.
Planet Terror? Really? Yeah. What do you think it is?
Planet Terror? It's a movie that's not as good as Death Proof, but was still fun to watch. It would probably be like a 3.
I don't really like it.
I'm going to give Oz the Great and Powerful... I think I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5 Nicolas Cages. And the reason being, and Nicolas Cage is appropriate here, that the greatest amount of enjoyment I had from it was the bad performances.
Yep.
And the crows. That was the funniest shit ever. I was dying.
That was really funny. You're going to die.
This isn't a big spoiler, so I'll just say it. They're walking into, like, the dark forest, and there's some crows on a branch, and they're just walking under, and the crows are like the crows from fucking the ride at Disneyland. What's it called? Splash Mountain. And they're just walking, and the crows are like, "You're gonna die!" And then they fly away. Out of nowhere. It was great.
It was funny. I laughed at that as well.
That was very funny. Anyway, yeah, I give it 2.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. I don't know, Gone with 60 Seconds. No, that's not even that good. It's kind of like The Wicker Man, I guess, where most of all it's bad, but there's some select moments that you can get some enjoyment out of it.
Because I haven't seen Wicker Man yet, so...
Yeah, we got to fix that.
No, I need to watch the first.
No. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend it to pretty much anyone. If you have kids, watch the original.
Yeah.
Like, really...
See, most of my friends know Wicked, so I don't think I could recommend it to anybody I know either.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it was that great.
No.
Pretty underwhelmed.
If you want to see it, rent it. Wait for it to come out.
Yeah, wait for it to come out on DVD. We didn't see it in 3D either, so I can't comment on that. But anyway, we'll be back to talk about trailers. Heart-crushing trailers. Cool. And the rest of the movie shortly.